en español. Which chapter? Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Jayo Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Jayo Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Thank you very much. In this little song, there is so many things, you know. There are so many things. That's why Prabhupada would chant it always. And this is actually just a part of a song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The song is longer. Okay? So you will have to tolerate my French accent for some more time. Please forgive me. I have been asked to speak this morning on Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, first chapter. I was on chapter 2. Text 36 and 37. Okay. Oh, very nice verse. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. I think everybody understands the translation. You're very good at Bengali. By the mercy of Prabhupada, now we can understand when we hear this. But still I will read his rendering here. The instructing spiritual masters are Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Bhatt Raghunath, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Then Kaviraj Goswami says, Ei Chaya Guru Shiksha Guru Ye Amara Tan Sabara Pada Padme Koti Namaskara. These six personalities are my instructing spiritual masters. And therefore, I offer millions of respectful obeisances unto their lotus feet. Koti Namaskar. Koti means 10 million, Prabhupada writes in the... Actually, if we look, the word Koti is sometimes used for some number, and sometimes I don't know if it is a precise number. And when it's very much, Kaviraj Goswami writes, koti koti. That means millions of millions. So he offers millions of time his respectful obeisances unto Rupa, Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Jiva, Gopala Bhatt, and Raghunath Das Goswami. And there is a very short... By accepting the 6 Goswamis as his instructing spiritual masters, the author specifically makes it clear that one should not be recognized as a Gaudiya Vaishnava if he is not obedient to them. I would say in the word obedient here from Prabhupada there is much more than simple obedience. There is, because what does it mean to obey Rupa Goswami? No, Rupa Goswami is not telling us, pass the mop, clean the table, no, don't do this, don't do that. Rupa Goswami gave us some books, and as well as Sanatan and Raghunath Das Goswami. So when Prabhupada means here obedience, it means taking at heart their instruction. So without taking at heart their instruction, we cannot be recognized as Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And Prabhupada said the author specifically wants to make this clear here, that in order to be recognized as a Gaudiya Vaishnava, we have to take at heart the words of Rupa, Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Jiva, Gopala Bhatt, and Raghunath Das Goswami. So we could now explain who are Rupa, Sanatan, but it will be a long, their life is full of description. I will not go into this. I guess maybe you already know. If you don't, one day you will. It's very beautiful to understand all the details of the life of these acharyas. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gyanam Janam Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goradvishe Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanshakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayati Girim Yad Kripam Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam. This means that although I am a very stupid person, by the mercy of Prabhupada, maybe I will be able to speak some poetry, because this is the beauty of the Vaishnavas. They can turn the dumb man in a poet, and they can make a blind mind see the stars in the sky. Well, I have to admit, Prabhupada made me see the stars in the sky. My sky was filled with material stars, because when I was young, I loved the stars, so I was studying the stars, But Prabhupada brought so many beautiful spiritual stars in my life. And Although I was blind, he made me see so many stars. So who are our stars? Not Brad Pitt. No, our stars are Rupa, Sanatan. These are our stars. They are eternal stars. They're coming from the world of Radha and Krishna down to our plane in order to shine light in our lives and in our hearts. This is what they do, huh? By their own light. When they come into our life, they bring so much light in our life. And now, by their grace, we're living in the light. We're living in the light of Rupa and Sanatan by the mercy of Prabhupada. Prabhupada brought us this light. 2 days ago, I went to Brooklyn Pier on 17th Street. You know where Prabhupada landed with the Jaladuta. It's not far from here, 25 minutes. It's a little bit changed since then because there is now Home Depot there. So we cannot really access, but I was going around to try to find a way to enter, and then I saw that there was a construction site with a big, grid. So I was sad I could not come, but then Krishna made me see there was no lock. So then it was written, forbidden to access, of course, but I slightly opened the door and I entered. Dressed like this, I was not invisible, but I dare it, you know. It was worth. So I went inside, and then I could get a very nice view of the bay, and then it's some kind of canal, you know, arriving up to the pier where Prabhupada first touched, you know, the floor or the ground of New York with his lotus feet. And it's a very significant event. It's a very significant event because Prabhupada transformed New York from that first step. This is the power of people like Prabhupada. Just with one touch of 1-2 of his lotus feet, he can transform a city like New York into a place of pilgrimage. How can we imagine this? And by doing this, we could say a little step for mind, but I don't know what is the English version. Small step for mind, gigantic step for mankind. It was indeed that day a gigantic step for all of us, because by doing so, Prabhupada didn't only step in New York, he also stepped, Jai, Shri Shri Radha Govinda Ki Jai. He also stepped in our hearts, because that was his intention. Prabhupada didn't only want to visit New York. He came to New York in order to step into our heart. By doing so, he expressed, you know, he not only expressed, he manifested his mission to come and save us. So the Vaishnava, they save us by appearing in our life and by appearing in our heart. So here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, before writing Chaitanya Charitamrita, he offers his obeisances. So the previous verse is a very famous verse. Mantra Guru Arayata Shiksha Guru Gan. he says, I offer my humble obeisances to my Diksha Guru, as well as my millions of Shiksha Guru. Because Rupa, and then he said, Shri Rup, Shri Sanatan, Bhata Raghunath, Shri Jiva, Gopala Bhat, Dasa Raghunath. Prabhupada said, the instructing spiritual masters, or the Shiksha Guru who he is speaking in the previous verse, are Rupa Sanatan, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. But not only them. Actually, we often say 6 Goswamis, but there were 8. There were not only 6. If we say ontologically speaking, there are 8 Goswamis. We have to add Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, but of course he will not add himself. And also Lokanath Goswami, because technically speaking, these 8 personalities, they are whom we call the Astamanjalis, in the 8 main maidservants of Radharani, who are assisting her for everything, anything and everything. Dressing her, bathing her, massaging her, bringing messages, comforting her, anything they have to do, protecting her, saving her life. They are not ordinary personalities. They are the closest person to Radharani's heart and to Krishna's heart. They know absolutely everything. There is not something that Rupa Manjari or Lavanga Manjari, who are Rupa and Sanatan, they don't know. They know absolutely everything. So we are here reading from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who is one of these personalities. So this is not an ordinary book. It's, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta would say, if all the books in the universe, they would disappear, and the Srimad Bhagavatam would stay, then there would be no loss. Absolutely no loss. Nothing will be lost. And then he said, and even if the Srimad Bhagavatam would disappear, but the Chaitanya Charitamrita would stay, then there would be no loss. He can say that. I cannot say that, but he can say that. Because Chaitanya Charitamrita is we could say, then summum bonum of all our literature. So he starts the introduction of this masterpiece, eternal masterpiece, by offering his respect to Rupa and Sanatan, Raghunath Bhat, Jiva, Gopal Bhat, and Raghunath Das, who are his closest friends, actually. He addresses them as his masters, because this is the way of the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, everybody thinks any other else around them are greater. That means even their best friends, they think their best friend is so much better than them. That's what creates harmony. Our chaos in this world is created because everybody wants to be higher than the other. And when everybody wants to be higher, then this creates chaos. But if you reverse that, and you make that everybody wants to become lower, then that creates harmony, divine harmony. This is how the world of Krishna works. Everybody wants to be lower than the others. And it's beautiful, then it becomes pure bliss. Because it's such a beautiful dynamic, to place ourselves lower than the others. And who is the inaugurator of that dynamic? That's Krishna himself. Because there is one particularity of Krishna we rarely speak of, is that Krishna never places himself above someone else. It's interesting, huh? Even if that someone else is us. And this is our mistake. We should do the same. We should learn that from Krishna. That actually Krishna doesn't consider us to be lower than himself. On the contrary, Krishna considers us to be higher than himself. Even though he is Krishna, Mata Parataram Nanyat. He said to Arjuna, there is nothing superior to me. But that was just because he had to say it. But that's not his inner feeling. In his heart, Krishna feels lower than everybody else. And that's what makes him Krishna. That's why he is who he is. And that's why he is beautiful. From there springs his beauty. And that's only one little aspect of who he is. But that's beauty, no? Humility makes somebody very beautiful. Even that person may be ugly externally. If a person is really humble at heart, he will become beautiful. Everybody will be captivated by the beauty of that person. This is the beauty of the heart. And Krishna has both. He has the beauty of his body, and he has also the beauty of his heart. And we have to know that this beauty is also ours. It belongs also to us. Because this is who we are, or who we are supposed to be. We are not proud fellows. We possess the same qualities. The same qualities like Krishna? Is this correct? Please forgive my grammar, I have another grammar in my head. We possess the same qualities. How is this? Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udashyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnameva Vashisyate. All the qualities that Krishna has, every little particle emanating from him also has all these qualities. This is very important to understand. So Krishna has unlimited beauty. That means we also have unlimited beauty. So what's the difference between us and Krishna then? Very little. It's a question of quantity. We have unlimited beauty, Krishna also has unlimited beauty. But in the realm of unlimitedness, there is also unlimited, and then there is unlimited multiplied by unlimited. And then there is unlimited, how do you say when you put a small number, on top, right top of it? Huh? So there is also unlimited to the power of unlimited. That means unlimited time multiplied the unlimited. So that exists also in the realm of the infinite. We are unlimited. Krishna is unlimited, the power of unlimited. But that means we also possess all these very beautiful qualities of Krishna. And we have to let them shine in our light. We have to become who we are. You know what the first question Rupa Goswami asked to Mahaprabhu? He said, Ke Ami. When he met Mahaprabhu in Prayag, that was Prayag, and that very famous discussion started. He asked to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ke Ami, who am I? Very simple, Ke Ami, who am I? And Mahaprabhu told him, Krishnera Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das. The Swarup, the real form, the eternal form of the Jiva, the living entity, is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. Krishnera Tatashta Shakti Beda Abeda Prakash. And you are at the same time different from Krishna, but at the same time non-different from him. And this is very important. That means we are non-different from him. That means we also are eternally a person with unlimited beauty. Now we cannot see that aspect of us because we are identified to this aspect, which is actually not us. Our real identity is as another form. We should ask ourselves, Ki ami? Who am I? This is the first teaching that Rupa Goswami gave us. The first question that we have to ask ourselves, who am I? Eternally. You know, if I am Krishna Nitya Das, an eternal servant of Krishna, that's good, but that's vague in one sense. Which eternal servant of Krishna am I? We have to discover this. This is our quest, you know. Prabhupada came to introduce us to this quest. Because there is in our heart a power that we have forgotten, and this is the power of love. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, Sadyaka Bunai. Inside the heart of every living entity, there is pure love for Krishna. This is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami will say a little bit later. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem. Sadhya Kabunai. There is no need to. It's there. No need to take it from somewhere else. It's there. We only need to let it awake. Shravan Adi Sudachite Karaye Udai. So how this Udaya, or awakening or arising of this love which is in our heart, will happen. Shravana Adi, Sudachite. By listening and chanting and remembering Krishna mainly, and then also Navavida Bhakti. But Shravana Adi, Sudachite, who is a pure heart, Sudachite. What means Sudachite? Sudachite means when we're chanting, we have to chant with a pure heart. What means pure heart? Sudachite. That we don't know. Pure heart means it has to come from the strata of our soul. The chanting should come from the core of our heart. Because this is who we are. Not that so-called personality we have been playing in this world. Prabhupada came to tell us that this is finished now, this personality. Sarva upadi vinir muktam. These upadis, things we identify with, that I am a man, I am a woman, I am an American, I am an Indian. Vinir muktam, this is finished, just remove all these things. This is illusion. We are not this. We are an eternal servants of Radha and Krishna. And they have come into our life to give us the greatest treasure. They have come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, combined together to give us their love. Their unlimited love, and to propose us to take that love. This is an open gift. It's free. We just have to take it. Because Mahaprabhu is distributing prema to one and all. How? How Mahaprabhu is distributing prema to one and all? By giving them the holy name. He's giving us the holy name. But I was thinking he's supposed to give prema. But Prabhupada explained he gave prema in the form of the holy name. That means what? That means the holy name is prema. Because it's not different from Radha and Krishna. Abhinadvam Nama Namino. There is no difference between Krishna and his name. So Mahaprabhu gave us the holy name. Radha and Krishna combined together in order to experience the most extraordinary reality of their own love. What is the most incredible aspect of their love? They dove into that and became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And by the same way, they shared this with us. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes in the Antelila, at the end of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 14, he said, please listen to this pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he manifested in this world, and please listen to his feeling of separation and to the ecstasy he manifested during that time. Because by doing so, you will attain Krishna Prema and you will understand him. This is very interesting. Just by listening to the pastime of Mahaprabhu in the Gambhira, because these 4 or 5 last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita deals with the last pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Gambhira. So he said, just by listening to these pastimes, you will attain Krishna Prem. So it's something real, you know. Because this will make our heart Sudachite, and this will make our chanting pure, coming from the bottom of our heart. You know, Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj would always tell us, chanting means crying. And he would say, if you're not crying, that means you're not chanting. So we have the habit to say, okay, I will chant my rounds. But we should say, actually, I have to cry my rounds. Because that's what it is. It's not about repeating again and again some formula. It's not this. The holy name, it's about that there need to be an engagement of our heart. This is why it is called Samkirtana. You know, Samkirtana is divided into 2 Sanskrit words. The first is Samyak and then Kirtana. Kirtana means chanting and Samyak means complete. So there is 2 meanings. We can take it as meaning congregational chanting. That means chanting with everybody. And then the word Samyak means everybody, complete in the sense of everybody. And also trying to include more and more people. But the word Samyak also means completely, means with all our heart. And then it becomes Sankirtana. Otherwise, it's not really Sankirtana. It's Namaparad. If we don't put all our heart in the chanting, then it's Namaparad. But as soon as we put all our heart, then it becomes Sankirtan. And this Sankirtan has the power to awaken that dormant love of Krishna which is lying in our heart. And to introduce us to the heart of Krishna. Because actually, the Maha Mantra is not different from the heart of Krishna. That means by chanting this mantra, we can access the heart of Krishna. Believe it or not. It's the true reality. This is what Rupa and Sanatan, they tell us. This is what they explain us. Nama Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. So the name of Krishna is Chintamani, is a touchstone that will transform everything that touches it. It will transform it in spiritual. Chintamani. It's a money, it's a jewel that transforms everything in chinta. Chinta means chit. It spiritualizes everything that it touches. What means chit? Spiritual. It means feeling. Because the spiritual world is a world of feeling. You know, the material world is called jada, jagat. Jada means dull. Dull. D-U-L-L. Dull. Dull. Please say it. Dull. That's dull. That means there is no feeling. Dull means there is no feeling. So this jada, jagat, where we live, means the world with no feeling. Or, I like to say it in this way, the world where love doesn't exist. There is no love, no feeling. We don't cry. But in the spiritual world is the world of Chit Jagat. And Chit Jagat is the world of feelings. And not only feelings, but the world of unlimited feelings, of love. And of the purest love. What is love? That is the thing we have to learn about what is love. So this is why Rupa and Sanatan, they wrote their books to explain to us what is love, prema. Prema means the desire to give without expecting nothing in return, just to give everything to Krishna. So the embodiment of that is Radha. She is the embodiment of prema. She is the embodiment of the highest, the highest intensity of prema that we call Mahabhava. And even if we go into the deep details that Rupa Goswami taught us, that is called Madanakya Mahabhav. Adiruddha Madanakya Mahabhav. I cannot explain this because it's too intense for words to describe. Even Rupa Goswami just writes some few words about it. Because the love in her heart is so unlimited, then when it manifests, then the entire universe starts to cry. It engulf, we can say in English? No? I don't know. Engulf? This is correct. It engulfs everything and everyone. So they came to give us access to that love. You know, one day, Radharani and Krishna, they were next to Govardhan, and they were just sitting next to each other. But by the one very beautiful aspect of that love, Radharani thought Krishna was not there. This is called prema vaichitya. When separation happens, even though she is with Krishna, but she starts to think that Krishna is not here. Because she thinks, maybe this is a dream. Maybe I am not with Krishna. She is with Krishna, but she starts to think, maybe I am dreaming, maybe I am not with Krishna. And then she enters into some kind of whirlpool of thoughts that I must not be with Krishna. And then she becomes completely lost in despair. Then this must be only a dream. This is called prema vaichitya. And she started to cry. She started to cry and to cry and to cry. Torrents of tears. These are not ordinary tears. These are Radharani's tears. You know, tears are very, very precious. Tears are very precious. Maybe the most precious things. What about the tears of Krishna and the tears of Radharani? So she started to cry, 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 cry. She cried so much that her tears made a pond, a big pond. And what happened then? Krishna started to cry also. Because when you see somebody crying, and you have such a soft heart like Krishna, then Krishna cannot but cry himself also. You know, Krishna cries a lot. We don't cry, but Krishna cries. And Krishna started to cry and cry and cry, and torrents of tears also. In French we say he melted into tears. I don't know if this exists in English. No? We say burst into tears. Huh? But our translation for burst into tears in French is melt into tears. So Radha and Krishna, they melted into tears. There is no difference between their tears and their heart. When Radharani and Krishna cried, that means their heart is coming out. Because how the tears of Krishna comes out, it's when his heart becomes so swollen. You know, the water in his heart, the ocean of love which is in his heart rises so up, then it pours out from his eyes. So their tears are actually their heart pouring themselves out from their eyes. That's why they have very beautiful eyes, Radha and Krishna. We say, you know, they have lotus eyes. Because the lotus grows in the water. Which water? Into which water the lotus eyes of Radha and Krishna grow? Into the water of their love, which is in their heart. It's connected, you know. Kamalaksha. Krishna is Kamalaksha. He has lotus eyes. Because his eyes, they are Prabhupada says the eyes, they are the mirror of the soul. Prabhupada likes to say this, you know, the eyes are the mirror of the souls. So the eyes of Radha and Krishna, they are the mirror of their heart. Because they are connected with their heart. I'm sorry, it's a little bit, you know, abstract what I'm saying, but for us it may be abstract. For the spiritual world, this is very concrete reality. Because it's reversed, you know. What is abstract here is very concrete there. You know what is the most concrete aspect in the spiritual world is sound. Here sound is very abstract and matter is very concrete. But in Goloka, matter is very abstract and sound is very concrete. Because it's reversed reflection. So the feelings are extremely concrete in Vraj. Whereas here feelings, they don't have so much substance. But in Goloka, the feelings are the most substantial things. And they are the most powerful things that actually drives everything else. So Radha and Krishna, they are driven by prema, by their love. They are not the driver. Krishna is not the driver. Radharani, she's not the driver. They are swang, we can say. They are swang, like we did the Julian Yatra. Is it correct? Well, Swing? The past of swing? Swung. So I was correct. By prema, by their love. In the spiritual world, prema is the supreme controller. They don't control anything. They are just under the control of prema. You know, one day, I didn't finish my story. So the story is that actually these 2 pawns, they became Radhakund and Shyamakund. This is the origin of Radhakund and Shyamakund in Goloka. Not exactly here. Here it manifested as this crazy Aristasura. But in Goloka, it's not the case. Radhakund and Shyamakund, they are the tears of Radha and Krishna. So they are the heart of Radha and Krishna. Shyamakund is the heart of Krishna, and Radhakund is the heart of Radharani. And they communicate. You know, there is a sangam where the water passes from the one to the other. Because the heart of Radha and Krishna, they are always connected. Whatever she feels, he feels instantly. Whatever he feels, she feels instantly. Because they are one soul. She said in Prema Samputa, Radharani explains to Krishna actually, because Krishna is disguised in front of her in the form of a Devi, heavenly girl from the heavenly planets. And he comes and he complains about Krishna, trying to convince Radharani that Krishna has no love for her. So she tries to convince that girl, whom she doesn't know is, that actually Krishna loves her. And then she explains that actually you don't understand me and Krishna, because we are one soul. Like from one stem of lotus, 2 flowers manifest, one golden and one blue. But their stems join in the same stem. They're coming from the same bulb. What is down the water? Root. They're coming from the same root. So Radha and Krishna, they are one soul. But this one soul is so beautiful that it manifested in 2 bodies. And from this sublime exchanges of love manifest. So these 2 kunds, they are like their heart. And they are their tears. So we need to understand how to connect ourselves with their tears. Because this is how we will be able to cry. When we chant the holy name, if we want to progress, then we need to cry. But how can we cry when we don't have feelings? What kind of feeling do we have here in this world? We don't have feelings. We are deprived of feelings because they are dormant. This pure love of Krishna is completely sleeping in our heart. So we need to connect with the feelings of Radha and Krishna. And then we will start to feel also ourselves. You understand? How to explain this? A Vaishnava is paradukha dukhi. That means he feels the suffering of others. You know, you can go in the street and you see some people suffering. There are many people suffering here in New York. And then you don't mind, you don't care. Because you are a callous person. You don't have sensibility. Sensibility? You don't have feelings. This person suffers, I don't care, I don't suffer. And then you walk by. But the Vaishnava is not like this. When he sees somebody suffering, he also feels that suffering. Para dukkha dukhi. And who is para means other. That means if we want to become Vaishnavas, we have to learn how to feel the feelings of others also, how to feel the pains of others. And among these others, who is the Supreme? Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. Among all these others, the Supreme is Krishna. So we have to learn Krishna Dukkha Dukhi, how to feel the pain of Krishna, starting from him. If we can feel the pain of Krishna, we can feel the pain of everybody else also. Then we become a Vaishnava. That's why the Vaishnavas, they are paradukkha dukhi. Like we say, a Vaishnava loves all the living entities. How can you love all the living entities? Just by loving Krishna. If you love Krishna, then you will love everybody else also. In the same way, how can you feel the suffering of all living entities? If you can feel the suffering of Krishna, then automatically you will also feel. And then our heart will start to live, actually. Because actually, presently we are not living. Shukadev Goswami says we are breathing corpses. Like the bellow of the blacksmith. We are some corpses that breathe, but there is no life inside. This is the sad situation of the material world. So how to add some life in this bellow of the blacksmith? By starting to feel what Krishna feels. And that's why he says, please listen about the feelings of separation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because by listening to that, you will awaken to Krishna Prema. We have to feel what Krishna is feeling. So when we learn that Krishna is crying, we should cry also. Otherwise, what kind of love we have for Krishna? We need to feel compassion towards Krishna. Then our chanting will become another reality. If we start to sing, that Krishna cries. If Krishna cries, then I should be affected also by this. And if I chant by thinking, by meditating on the tears of Krishna, and by meditating on how much Krishna cries, then my heart also will start to feel something. Because this is very beautiful. The tears of Krishna, they are not like the tears of this material world. They are extremely beautiful. In Goloka, actually the tears, they become jewels after when they fall on the floor. Very special substance. So we need to learn how to feel Krishna's heart, because this is what we come in contact with when we chant the holy name. When Krishna is feeling separation from Radharani, he comes to Radhakund, because that's her heart. So through Radhakund he can communicate with Radha. If he looks inside the Radhakund, she sees his face appearing in her heart, because that's her heart. You understand? It's like the mirror of her heart. So if he looks himself into that mirror, she sees Krishna's face appearing in her heart, and vice versa. She comes on the bank of Shyamakund in order to access Krishna's heart, because she knows this is Krishna's heart. I'm just putting together the things, you know. This is what our Goswamis and Prabhupada told us. Sometimes what they gave us is like a puzzle, you know, and we have to put the pieces together in order to see the beautiful picture manifesting. So this is the world which lies in front of us. Prabhupada came to introduce us to that world where he is coming from. Prabhupada also cried a lot. Yamuna says, you know, Prabhupada had always watery eyes. That means he was always checking his tears. That's her realization of Prabhupada. You know, Yamuna has a very high love for Prabhupada. Extremely high love for Prabhupada. And that's what she said. She said Prabhupada had watery eyes. He was always like, she could see that Prabhupada was always checking his tears. Because Prabhupada is living on such a level of love. But he could not cry always. You know, like Shukadev Goswami, he had to be very careful not to pronounce the name of Radha while saying the Bhagavatam, because if he would have pronounced the name of Radharani, he would have become stunned, petrified. Petrified is correct in English? Stunned. And he would have become stunned, and then he could not finish the Bhagavatam, but that was his mission, so he restrained himself. Same thing for Prabhupada. You know, Prabhupada is living on that level also of divine feelings. Prabhupada has access to Krishna's heart and to Radharani's heart, of course. He has full access to... So what he's carrying in his heart is gigantic. We cannot imagine what Prabhupada is carrying in his heart. If we could know, we would just cry. Because we don't have the capacity to bear such a love, you know? Like when Bhagirathi wanted the Ganga to come down on earth. She finally accepted, but then she said, well, who will receive the power of my flow? And then he found Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva could. Why? Because Lord Shiva, he has prem in his heart. He can receive the power of the Ganga. The Ganga is Jambu Nadi. It's the water of love coming from the spiritual world also. So, but only Shiva could do that. The love of Radha and Krishna is so powerful that we don't have the capacity to receive it. It would burn us in a few seconds, or it would drown us completely, and we would be lost. But actually, we do have that capacity. We just have to awaken it. Shravanadi sudachite karaye udai. With our sincerity, with our heart, we have to start putting our feelings into the chanting. I'm sure you're already doing this, but we have to always remind ourselves that there is more, there is much more, because we can connect to the feelings of Radharani and Krishna. And then we will access another level of bhakti or devotion. It's there. It's just kind of like waiting for us to connect with. It's a vibration. Prabhupada gave us the chance to come in contact with that vibration through Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You know, Radha and Krishna, they chant these names also. They chant, even in Goloka, they chant these names. When Krishna left for Mathura, Radhani, she entered into a very deep state of separation. Very, very, so deep that she looked like she was no more here. It looks there was no more life in her. Still she was there. She was not, because they cannot die, you know. In the spiritual world, they cannot die. So it's very interesting. That means if they cannot die, they can go very, 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 very close to death. They can, they can dare going as close as possible to death, because they don't die. They don't know they don't die, but this is a reality, you know. So she was nearly dead. We call this Mrityu. Mrityu is the last stage of separation. There are 10 stages of separation from Krishna. Rupa Goswami explains in Ujjvala Nilamani. And the last stage is called Mrityu. Mrityu means death. Actually, they never die, but they come to a point of they are as dead, or as dead. But they don't die, because they are, Krishna cannot die. But they are as dead. So the friend of Radha, you know, Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Induleka, Champakalata, Rangadevi, Sudevi, they are always surrounding Radhani. Radhani is like, they are a lotus, you know. Radhani is the core of that lotus, and they are the 8 petals. So the 8 petals, they always go with the lotus. She's always surrounded by them. So they were around Radhani, and they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do. They were putting some cotton, little cotton, you know, under her nose to see if she's still breathing. And they saw there was some very, very slight move in the cotton. She was still breathing. Same thing Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya did, you know, when Mahaprabhu lost consciousness, when he arrived in Jagannath Puri and collapsed in the temple room. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya brought Mahaprabhu and laid him in his house. We can still visit that place. It's there nowadays. And then he the same thing, he looked like if he's no more here, but it was also clear at the same time that he is still here. So he put some little cotton under his nose, and he saw there was a slight movement. And Rupa Goswami tells us, Radhani's girlfriend, they're doing the same thing in Goloka. Why? Because that's the same pastime going on. Mahaprabhu is living internally that pastime. Prabhupada explains us, you know, that Mahaprabhu was always in the consciousness when Krishna left Vrindavan, and Radhani was in this very deep feeling of separation. So that's the same thing. And then they could not find anything to do, so they chanted into the ear of Radha. They started to chant this mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, in order to maintain her life. So they chant this mantra, in the spiritual world. So when Nitai and I think it was Nitai, Mukunda, and Gadadhar Das, who had come with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they just some minutes later or some moment later, they reached the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and they found Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laying there. What did they do? They started kirtan. Same song. Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. This same song coming in Gora Lila to manifest on this earth. They're manifesting the same pastimes. Because they feel what Mahaprabhu is feeling, they feel. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya could not understand. He saw Mahaprabhu, he didn't have access to the heart of Gauranga. But when Nitai came, Mukunda and Gadadhar Das came, they could feel what Mahaprabhu is feeling. So they know how to assist him. Like Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, they were always with Mahaprabhu, and whatever he would feel, they could feel. So then they can assist him. So they started kirtan. This is Sankirtan. They chanted with their heart, in connection with his feelings, in order to assist him. You understand? Okay, I have to stop. Please forgive me, because time is flowing. And this is an endless topic. If I continue, we will go for all day long. I just wanted to share these few thoughts with you that are actually the beautiful things we find in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanand.